Now it starts with Sabrina Zaidan. She's a performance advocate who teaches optimization techniques to others. Originally, she's from Ukraine, you can guess, but now she lives in Spain. And she's actively contributing to the community as a speaker, volunteer, and organizer. She was organizer of WP Kiev. And there is an interesting fact. She moved to Spain. You would, imagine traditional Spanish house, but she literally moved to middle of nowhere. She lived in an abandoned house, which she's fixing up. So if you're interested in that part of the story, you can watch the Programmer Off-Grid channel, so she'll guide you through. And now I think it's time to get huge applause for her, and we can dive into the performance. The stage is yours.
Hello, everyone. Hello, WordCamp Europe. My name is Sabrina Zaidan. Yeah, that's on the screen. My name is Sabrina Zaidan. I'm a performance engineer, and my daily work is to improve WordPress websites performance. I used to work for WP Rocket and XWP, who both specialize in performance. For the last 5 years, I work for other WordPress development agencies to improve performance of the websites of their clients as a contractor. I also teach performance to other developers through workshops online and offline. And every time when I teach performance to other developers, I see exactly the same problem. Good, experienced developers feel unconfident when they face performance issues. They try different things, but they get no or insignificant results. And this creates frustration and the stereotype that performance, especially core web vitals, is a mystery, a black box that only the chosen ones can open. But this is absolutely not true. And we are going to demystify this mystery here together today. Thank you for coming to my talk. But before we start, I have an important question to you. Do you guys like detective stories? Yeah? You like detective stories? I like detective stories as well. And I'm going to tell you a detective story first. Tuesday, April 17th, 1994 was a regular day for Katie Holmes. She served breakfast to her son and dropped him at school and went to her regular job that was a bank assistant in the local bank branch. Everything was going as usual up until the doors to the bank opened and 4 men with guns, wearing gloves and hiding themselves with umbrellas from security cameras, entered the bank. They pushed everyone who was in the bank into the small room and locked them up. Nothing was happening what seemed like the longest time in the world. And then the door finally opened. It wasn't the robbers, it was the police. Police arrived, but it was too late. The entire robbery took just 7 minutes. They took the cash out and disappeared. So the investigation began. The police detectives, the first thing they did, they looked at security cameras footage. But they didn't see anything useful there, as gloves, masks, umbrellas were hiding everything. So they started to talk with witnesses. And one person said that they saw someone running away from the bank while this all was happening. That seemed like a good lead. So the police looked for that person, they found them, and it turned out that that person had a criminal record. Suspicious, no? Someone with a criminal record is running away from the crime scene. So they investigated it further and turned out that this person wasn't related to the robbery. They saw what was happening and were running away from the crime scene because with the criminal record they didn't want to be caught there. Well, this thing happens with performance as well. When we have issues with performance, our core web vitals are not passing, we look at the obvious things, images. Are they too large? Are they not lazy loaded? Are they wrong format? Are they not sized to the proper size? Maybe the wrong images are lazy loaded. Is it a good lead of course, can the images be a cause of a problem? Of course, of course they can. These all are very valid suspects. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they are the cause of the problem in this specific case. Well, 2 months passed, back to the robbery. 2 months passed, and the police get another clue. One of the bank employees was living a luxury lifestyle. Expensive cars, expensive clothes, they didn't match their salary. So that looked suspicious, and police suspected the inside job and investigated that person. But turned out that there was nothing interesting there. They just inherited money and were living their best life, and that was it. Nothing again. And with performance as well. Sometimes you use a font file that is 300 kilobytes just to display these 2 buttons to open and close mobile menu, but you're loading this entire font file in the wrong format that is blocking the rendering and hurting performance. Possible that this is the reason why the website is suffering with performance, of course, but it's not necessarily the reason for the case that you are investigating. Well, time passed by, and during 1 year, nothing was happening, up until in March 1995, the local gang committed the similar armed robbery. And police investigated if this gang could have been related to the previous robbery. So they checked all the members and found nothing again. But this was a good clue as well. It was a good suspect. Same with performance, as you guess. We look at something at our website, CSS or JavaScript. Is JavaScript too heavy? Is it loaded all at once? Is critical JavaScript loaded the last one, rendering the process of loading and making the users wait? That happens, and that can be the reason, but it's not necessarily the reason. Well, back to the robbery. The police didn't have anything else but to review the footage from security cameras again. And this time, it was a little bit different. They noticed something, they had an idea. Everything was still covered, but they saw that the robbers didn't hesitate. They knew every single move, they knew where to go every single minute, they knew perfectly the layout of the place, and that led them to understanding that it was really the inside job, but not bank employees that they already have checked. Who else could it be? Well, it turned out that it was armed car crew that deliver money to the bank. And after 2 years, the case was finally closed. So, what this detective story, it's real by the way, teaches us. Police, in the beginning, had 3 good suspects. Man running from the bank, a bank employee living a luxury lifestyle, and the local gang. Were these good suspects? Was it possible that they committed this crime? Yes, they were the good suspects, just like with performance. Icon fonts, images, CSS, JavaScript, third parties, slow backend, you name it. These all are solid suspects to hurt performance. But the question is not if they are good suspects. The question is, they could be the reason, yeah? The question is, but if they are the reason in this particular case, and here we come to the main problem with performance. Why good developers often fail when they face performance issues. You know, this posts like 10 ways to improve your website performance, or do this to improve LCP, or do this to improve time to first byte, or this is how you improve your backend performance. Good developers read these posts or watch these videos and apply what is there, but they get no or insignificant results regarding to their efforts. Why? Because they apply the remedy before knowing the problem. Sometimes they apply this remedy in very smart ways. They invent cool things along the way. But it doesn't bring them closer to passing core web vitals or improving website performance because the problem wasn't there in the first place. Don't do this. Do not apply the remedy before you know the problem. What we need to do is exactly opposite. We need to identify the problem first and do it very specifically. Then we need to reproduce it in lab, meaning on our computer. Then we need to find the cause of this problem, and only after we can apply the remedy. Only after we can look how to compress the images or how to lazy load it in this specific environment or how to reduce the size of JavaScript if we passed all these steps and not before. Well, luckily, with Core Web Vitals, it plays. Luckily, with Core Web Vitals, we already have security cameras footage available for us where we can see every single thing that is happening on the website, that is happening on the page during this load. We can see HTML, all assets, CSS, JavaScript, images, all third-party calls, whatever is happening on the website or during this load, we can see thanks to this beautiful tool that is called Waterfall. It shows us every step of the load. It might look overwhelming first because it's a lot of data. But if you really want to stop guessing about performance and start solving the issues that really matter instead of solving the issues where you can just like check the checkbox, I did this. If you want to start solve the issues that really impact performance, you have to learn how to use this beautiful tool. Here today, I'm not going to explain how to do this, and it's not possible. This is what you can Google later, exactly how to read Waterfall. This is in Chrome DevTools, yeah? Instead, I want to give you the algorithm how to think about performance when you are doing this, how to approach it. These things you cannot find on Google. This is an algorithm that I use every time that I work on the performance for the client. It's different from what you have seen before. It will save you a lot of time and nerves. It's a mind map. I will give the QR code in the last slide so you can download it and use it in your work. It consists of 6 steps. I will name these steps first, and then I'll go one by one. So, first step. Does the website have issues with performance at all? Second, which issues does it have? Then, can I reproduce the issues in lab? Then, investigate the main possible cause of each issue. Then, apply fixes. And finally, does the website pass Core Web Vitals assessment? Now, let's start with the first one. Does the website has issues with performance at all? You might be surprised, but how often people fool themselves about having or not having issues with performance, with both. Sometimes they think that they do not have any issues, but they do, and sometimes they think that or the opposite. Well, here are 2 screenshots. I'll give you a few moments to look at them and tell me which screenshot does have problems with performance and which one does not. This page speed insight screenshots, yeah? I know you know, guys. Which one? I can hear one or 2? 2, exactly. Number 2 does have issues with performance. While they have similar results, 32, 33 in page speed insights, it doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter at all. Because over there we have Core Web Vitals assessment. There it says passed in green, yeah? And here it says Core Web Vitals assessment failed. So this is the main thing that we need to, if there is one thing that you remember from this talk, this is it. This is the main thing we need to understand, that these PageSpeed Insights tests, they are, what is PageSpeed Insights tests? It's a lab test that makes a snapshot of the URL that you are testing right now with unknown settings that you have no access to and that has no idea what is happening really on your website or what was happening there yesterday or a week ago. In opposite, the Core Web Vitals assessment is the reflection of what real users experience on your website, were experiencing on your website, things, during the period of time. So whatever numbers you have here, it doesn't matter at all if you have Core Web Vitals assessment passed. Then we don't have a problem with performance. We can go and relax. But today we're not going to talk about this lovely scenario. We're going to talk about the scenario where you do have a problem with, not you, but the website that you are working on does have issue with performance when Core Web Vitals assess failed. Okay. All right. So we confirmed. Step one, we confirmed that this website does have issues with performance. What we need to do now? Now we need to specify which issues does it have. You've seen this image before. I'll remind really quickly, Core Web Vitals is the set of metrics that Google uses to evaluate the performance of your website. There are three of them, there are three main of them, LCP, CLS, INP. Yeah? LCP, largest contentful paint. This is how fast the website is loaded, how fast the main element on the first screen, the main element meaning the main picture or the main block of text or the main video on the first screen is loaded, how fast. The second one, INP, Introduction to Next Paint. Sounds a little bit complicated, but it's very easy. When you click the mobile menu to open, and sometimes some time passes, like 1 second passes, you click it to open and it responds to you slowly. Or you click the slider and it slides slowly. This is the interaction, the speed, how fast, performance in terms how fast the website, the web page interacts to your action. And LCP, that might sound confusing as well, cumulative layout shift. But this surely happened to you before. When you open the website, you want to click the navigation menu, for example, but while you are bringing your finger to the screen, something pops up, and instead of navigation menu, you are clicking on some freaking ad. So we hate this, and Google knows that we as users hate this. So LCP exactly to show us when these situations are happening and to avoid these situations. All right, LCP and PCLS. What is very important with Core Web Vitals is to understand that these three metrics are three different things, and we need to work on each one separately. All right, so every time when I work on a performance project, I have a Google spreadsheet, not that lovely as this image, a normal Google spreadsheet, with this structure: device, mobile, desktop, and metrics, LCP, CLS, INP for each one separately. Yeah, and then I put in numbers for each one. Where do we take those numbers? You don't need any fancy tools. You don't need anything special for that. You just go to Google Search Console, and there you have the tab called Core Web Vitals. And there you have these numbers. It will tell you exactly what is not passing on this website, on desktop or on mobile. Is it CLS, INP, or LCP? And with which numbers? So I put that in the table. And very important, there you have the column URLs, which gives you the example of the page where this issue is happening. And it doesn't give you a separate example. It groups the page by their template. So, for example, product page on WooCommerce might have CLS issue, and another template, blog post, will have LCP issue. So different templates will be having different issues, and causes might be very different as well. So you should go there. In the URLs, copy the URL where it's happening to the table as well. And as a result, you have the metrics, the number, and the URL where it's happening. Well, at this point, we really do have something to work on. At this point, we are not saying the website is slow or Core Web Vitals is not passing. No, we know that the website is not passing on mobile, LCP is not passing with these numbers on this URL. This is the beginning, this is the starting point. We can go to the next step. Third, can I reproduce the issues in lab? Our next task is to reproduce the issues in lab, meaning pretend to be a user. If we can replicate the issue, we can investigate it. If we can investigate, we can find the cause. If we can find the cause, we can fix it. There is no other way around. We have to replicate the issue like our users having this issue and feel their pain. Well, how to pretend to be the user and replicate the issue in lab? For this, we have Chrome Devs Tools. It's all done there. You open it in Chrome, the URL that you copied that has issue, you open it in incognito mode, you open Chrome Dev Tools. Then you have to set in VPN the location that your users have. If you are here and your users are in United States, you have to set VPN to the location of your users. How to know from where the majority of users are coming from? It's from Google Analytics, right? Then you have to choose the device that your user have. If you have access in Google Analytics or other analytics system to the most usable device for this website specifically, beautiful if you can use it. If no, at least you can set mobile device. I usually set my iPhone 12 if I don't know the device. Then we need, one sec, use a device, use a connection, use a connection. Your connection to the internet might be very different from the average connection of the user. So you need to pretend to be a user there as well. Again, if you have this information in Google Analytics or other analytics system, beautiful. If no, set standard for mobile, it's fast. For G, for desktop, it's 5 megabits cable for testing. And you also can throttle there not only the connection, but also the CPU, because your CPU of your device, of your computer, is very, very different from average CPU of mobile phone. So, for example, to handle the operations, mobile phone of the real users will require much more time than you on your computer. Throttle there the CPU usage as well to get close to the user experience. Our goal here is to replicate the issue that users are having. And in the end, so every time when I do this, when I replicate the issue, I make the video that I am able to replicate it for the later use. And also I note the conditions under which I am able to replicate the issue, because in 1 week I won't be remembering this. And add it as well in the table. Then, so if we are not able to replicate, if by following these steps you are not able to replicate the issue, what to do? You have to try until you can do it. You just cannot go to the next step before replicating the issue really. Here are 3 things that might help if you're not able to replicate it like this. 1, throttle more, throttle the internet speed more, throttle the CPU more. Second, TrioSH. This is a free site speed test that has a lot of information about Core Web Vitals in regards of countries. You can, if you're working on an international website, it's very, very, very convenient. It gives you information, for example, for LCP in Switzerland and LCP versus LCP in France versus LCP in United States. And you can see this like historic data as well. This is super useful for such cases. And then webpagetest.org. It's a lab test as well, just like Chrome DevTools. But it has a lot of options that you can tune, not only device connection and location of the user, but a lot more things that you can tune to really replicate the user experience. So use these 3 tools to replicate the user's experience. And in the end, when you manage to do this, add the recordings to the table. Then, after in the end, we are having issue, number, URL where it's happening, we have recording, and we have the condition under which we're able to replicate it, yeah? Now, we have to investigate the main possible cause for this issue to happen. This is where you have to Google how to read waterfall, yeah? It might take hours to study that, but at this point, you know the issue, you see the waterfall. Now you have to ask yourself one question. Among the all evidence that I have now, what is the main possible cause that might be causing this issue? You know, every website will have a lot of issues on a lot of pages. You don't need and you don't have time to fix them all. You need to determine the issue very precisely, and then while solving it, you need to identify one main suspect that you want to resolve. First, it might be difficult. I understand that it might be difficult, especially if you're doing it for the first time, it might be difficult to identify one. I allow you to identify 3, but not 23. And when you have this 1 or 3, you add that to the table as well. 3 possible main issues, and you resolve them, only them. After doing this numerous times, you will have what might be called intuition, but in fact it's just all the experience that you had before. When you look at the waterfall, you look at the website, and you know exactly that this is the main guy. I have to resolve this one, and when this one is resolved, maybe there will be something else, but this is the main guy. So we did exactly what we needed to do. We specified the issue, we reproduced it on our computer, we have the main solid suspect identified, and only now, only on this stage, we can apply the remedy. We can really work on optimizing video or JavaScript or images or whatever is needed to be optimized to solve this specific issue in these conditions. Now, to apply the issues, I always apply the fixes. I always apply fixes in this order: LCP first, then INP, and then CLS. Why? Because INP and CLS, oftentimes are not standalone issues. They are connected to LCP, and if you resolve LCP, you might be lucky, and INP and CLS might resolve themselves without any further help. But if no, the next one, resolve INP. And the last one, CLS. Why? Because while resolving LCP and INP, the layout and the order, while the resources, the order in which resources will be loaded will change significantly, and it will be absolutely different environment now. You might have the cause of LCP absolutely in different place. That's why LCP should go the last one. And in the end, the last step, does the website pass Core Web Vitals assessment now? So you have to test under the same exact conditions in which you identified the issue before in the lab, again in Chrome DevTools, and see if the website passes Core Web Vitals now under the same condition. If no, you have to return to step number 4 and ask yourself again, among all the possible evidence, among all evidence that I have, what is the most possible reason now not to be passing? And this way, you have to hunt low-hanging fruits. You have to go from big issue to smaller one and to smaller one, instead of trying to solve 20 of small issues. So if no, we are going back to step number 4 and repeating the process. And at some point after repeating this process, you will test and Core Web Vitals will be passing. In this case, we can go have a beer. If we are passing the Core Web Vitals assessment in the lab under the same conditions, we have all the right to expect that Core Web Vitals will be fixed for real users as well. But as it's collected during a period of time, this is a real user experience that is collected during the time, 28 days period normally. It needs time to be updated. So it depends on the traffic on the website. So shortly after, if you have good results in the lab, shortly after you will see the results in real world for real users in your core web vitals. Well, this is it. Thank you for your interest to performance. You can download this algorithm following this link. I wish you good luck with your projects. I will be available in WP Cafe. If you would like to talk about performance, I'm always eager to. Cheers.